So I'm sure this video will have the usual reaction that people agree with the first half, and the second half they'll start to get really angry and put in nasty comments. It is what it is. So please support the other channels if you can. Please consider supporting this channel through channel memberships and through whatever that means. I'll try to start putting these links like the buy coffee thing, but it will take time. All right, let us get to it. Not to be disrespectful, I am sort of suspicious when the comments go down the route of insulting me. But let me just get to the thing. So there's a lot of videos by Cat Williams that are going viral because Cat, and again, he was not rare. There were a lot of people speaking out against Puff Daddy, but for whatever reason, his videos or his commentary has gotten more traction. And you have to agree with part of what he's saying, but a lot of what he's saying is also not like that informative. So here is Cat talking about the infamous killing of Tupac Shakur, and I would agree that the cover story is not too convincing. However, is there a larger conspiracy? I don't know.
They cancel me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2020.
It might seem a weird sidestep, but we're going to get into Miriam Francis, who is one of the, we'll just say, confused activists that Aaron Smith Levin has been promoting. And they've been going on this weird jihad against Mike Rinder and for his alleged crimes. And again, I'm just a little suspicious of what Miriam is up to. So let me just sample some of her work because I think this is the dilemma. And yes, I'm not joking. Somewhere, I'll find that comment. She was like hand clapping like a stupid seal saying, "Oh yeah, Cat Williams. Oh yeah, he's telling the truth." I'm like, what? Huh? But you can see what she's trying to say because her own way of analyzing things is to just posit these big conspiracies, even when nothing is there.
Listen, I was also experiencing nightmares that Mike Rinder was going to come and try and harm me, that he was going to try and fair game me, that he was going to send a private investigator after me. Like, I was living in a nightmare. And so that I was like, this is how I cope with my stress, is that I need information. I've done that with my police case.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how I get. So what I was doing was I was researching Mike Rinder for the last few weeks, and the more I was coming across, I was like, it was horrifying. And then to see the way the Aftermath Foundation was behaving with me when I've asked them for help, specifically, I was having communications with Claire Headley. She was aware of some of what was going on. She knew my story. Like for me, I was like, okay.
Was anything there? Well, and the thing she talked about, now we know flatly, that's just not true. So maybe Miriam, who has suffered greatly, maybe she really did think Osa was coming for her in Australia. But you got to think this thing through for a while, and this is why, she's just been caught lying several times. It's not disputable. She just lies. And this is just the problem with the ex-Scientology community, that it is filled with pathological liars who they'll just lie to your face just to make money and just to take things. It is unfortunately just a thing. So she says that she's fearful that Rinder was retaliating against her. What was the retaliation? Oh, she wasn't getting money from the Aftermath Foundation, which was run by Claire Headley. I don't think she knows what these legal terms mean of stalking and harassing and so on and so forth. You're contacting Rinder, right? You came to Rinder. So the stalking and harassment is on your side, right? Stalking and harassing is when someone comes after you. So if Rinder was actively coming after you, you'd have a case. But you're literally saying you came to him, you had a dispute, there was a falling out, and now you're fearful of the Osa. If you're fearful of the Osa, why would you communicate with him? You're not making any sense. So it just feels like you do think there is a case here that he is harassing and stalking and intimidating. You can go to the police. You have the money. She has about $20,000. You can hire a lawyer. Now, my main target here is not her, but Aaron Smith Levin. So my main gist here is it's fine to have conspiracy theories. It's fine to do conspiracy analysis. It is a thing. I think Oliver Stone, again, it's a bit all over the place, but a lot of his work is very valuable. And I've heard Oliver Stone speak in person, and he has said this thing. Yes, I am a conspiracy theorist, but I'm also someone who believes in accidents. Now, Oliver Stone is a serious person. He reads a lot, and you may have criticisms of his book, but he actually did the work of doing a lot of research. A lot of these people just don't do that. They're play acting at it, right? They'll look at the OSO documents. They're going to look at Cat Williams and say, oh, there you go. Put Mike Rinder in jail. Well, Mike Rinder is not in jail, but Puff Daddy is in jail. Is he in jail because of Cat Williams? No, he's in jail because there were a lot of civil lawsuits. Now, Cat Williams touched upon that. He did some little bit of whistleblowing, right? But it was very, which is fine. You have to be very careful. But nevertheless, did he really know anything? I don't think he did. He just stated kind of the obvious that Puffy's suspicious, don't go to his parties. And I agree with Miriam. Rinder is very suspicious. But here's the problem. So are you. So let me get to my main target, who's Aaron Smith Levin, because Aaron also likes to specialize in this conspiracy analysis and how to do it. But then you think back, it's like, well, you didn't really say anything. All you are is just engaged with this factional infighting for more power and positioning. But really, what did you say? You didn't say anything.
Ground penetrating radar to map the child trafficking tunnels under L. Ron Hubbard Way. Clowns like that are scam artists and con artists and distractions to what former Scientologists are actually trying to do to actually get Scientology held accountable. Okay. So when I'm talking about Michael Maurer should probably go to his son, Johnny, and say, Johnny, you're going to screw me. You're going to screw my company.
So what Aaron was doing is he was mocking some of the LA protesters and their obsession with these tunnels, and that the tunnels are filled with children and Miscavige is using the tunnel children for slave labor and things like that. And he says, correctly, that's just a bunch of weirdo BS conspiracy. I don't have time for that. I'm doing real stuff. And what is his real stuff? Talking with a girlfriend who he's not married to while he's married. Now, to be fair to him, I think technically he's separated. And listen, the point here is not to be pure, perfect, virtuous angel. Believe me, Oliver Stone has a very shaky past. Michael Moore has a shaky past, right? You can do two things at once. You can do some really good truth-telling, and your own personal life is kind of horrific. But here's the thing. Good or bad, Oliver Stone and Michael Moore do get fact-checking a lot. They get a lot of pushback. They've been the subject of lawsuits. Like, Michael Moore has had to pay people because he did not tell the whole truth in some of his documentaries. This is for the public record. And that is fine. If they get things wrong, they have to pay a price. But what's Aaron doing? Aaron's literally not doing very much at all. So he's been doing these YouTube videos for 8 years now. And apparently he's very proud of himself. Oh, God. Oh, man. The Danny Masterson. Oh, I did that. I got him in the jails. Well, Aaron, the timeline does not make sense. You were in Scientology in LA. That's where Danny Masterson was very active. There is no evidence you were working to put him in jail during that time period. Even after he left Scientology, there is no evidence he was working to get Danny Masterson in jail. All he did was do a bandwagon, which he just did recently with Linkin Park. It's like, oh, Danny, oh, he's Scientology. Oh, yeah, oh, man, he's evil. I'm going to go to LA. I will defend the women's. I will stand in the face of the evil of Danny Masterson. I will stop the Ibal. And listen, if you want to buy into his clown conspiracy nonsense, that is fine. I just don't understand where Aaron gets off criticizing others for getting lost in weirdo conspiracies, and that's all he does. That's all he does. I mean, again, if you look at his videos closely, and to be fair, he did catch some things, although he didn't do any work. This was just people giving him information, and some of it is pretty interesting. Like, for instance, Ashton Kutcher, one of Danny Masterson's friends, apparently has been doing some iffy things with his gun collection, as has Danny Masterson. Now, does this really matter at the end of the day? And I'll be upfront. I'm literally politically biased here because I'm very pro-gun rights. So even on this one, I'd be the first one to say, okay, it's fine to report it, but I'm honestly not really invested in this. Again, like it or not, I am pro-Second Amendment. So the fact that they have guns and da-da-da-da-da, and if Aaron is saying, oh, they broke the law, I honestly challenge the laws. I'd say, no, I don't think those should be regulated there. But that's me. I'm more for deregulation there. So that political bias aside, though, okay, well, let's say they did commit a criminal activity. Danny's in jail for another crime. Is this really going to even do much more damage? No, it's just finding things to feed his audience to keep them angry and buzzed. And hey, if you guys want that kind of content, I will be more than happy to provide it. But at the end of the day, does it stop David Miscavige or the top leadership? No. So Aaron's excuse for not having lawsuits, Because it's the lawsuits that put Puffy in jail. It's the lawsuits that generated pressure and, frankly, the prosecutor who wants a political career. This is a very political thing. Prosecutors like these kind of cases to make themselves look better so they can get more power and money. This is very brutally simple. The lawsuits kicked off a process that made it attractive for the prosecutor to go after P. Diddy. If you want to do the same thing, you've got to start the process. But Aaron flatly said, no, I'm not going to do no lawsuit. I don't want to do that. Why not? Because he has a very shaky past. Then the world would know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, he is what he is. He's a really greedy, ugly piece of garbage. Not an opinion. They would be able to call forward, right? Scientology would call forth tons of witnesses, tons of pieces of evidence to discredit him. And Aaron just doesn't want to do that. He wants to do this pretend superhero act for his audience. And you are free to follow that fantasy and believe that moronic conspiracy analysis. You are free to follow Miriam Frances and believe her moronic conspiracy analysis. But at least Cat Williams hit upon something solid that we can build upon. With them, we're just getting lost with Osa, Render, the Chomo, the Scientology. He doesn't like me. I have a vendetta. We need to go after him too. And it's like, okay, that's nice. And who is he targeting? A very low-ranking Scientologist. What is he doing? He's literally screaming at old women. They're like, old women, do you know Danny Masterson? Okay. Is that going to put Miscavige in jail? No. Is it going to stop Scientology? No. But Aaron's viewer's like, I don't think you understand. Aaron is informing us. Really? Were those 3 old people really part of the Danny Masterson conspiracy? Were they helping P. Diddy? Let me do that. Let me just get a camera, find some old Scientologists and scream at them saying, hey, now about the Masterson Diddy conspiracy. I know you're guilty. Okay? And you better come forward and just follow them and chase them. And it's like, yeah, that's brave activism. That's brave, strong, analytic conspiracy theorizing from the Aaron Smith Levin, Miriam Frances faction. Okay? And then you think, all right, fine. Put it to the test. Well, you've done that. You've been screaming at old people. Miriam has been looking at the OSA documents. What has that yielded? Well, he's making money from his YouTube channel, and Miriam has made $20,000. And now she's asking for money for another friend on a GoFundMe. You know, you might start to be suspicious that it really is just about the money and power. And whenever they get caught, they say, I've been victimized. True, Miriam, you have been victimized. So is Oliver Stone. So is Cat Williams. So is Michael Moore. These are all victims of a kind. Like, Oliver Stone went to Vietnam. He risked his life, so he has a lot of credibility. So when he says this is an evil fascist American empire, he's correct because he's seen it up front. He's paid a huge cost. Doesn't make him perfect, and there's a lot to criticize. There's a lot to criticize even from the level of Scientology, which we'll get to. But at least he's building something. Not to agree with everything he says, but at least we have something to build upon. He definitely was getting into some very dark secrets with JFK and other films and other documentaries. And if you want to do so, you are free to look at that canon and we can build upon it. But what has Aaron's vast archive of videos given us in terms of lawsuits? I can't think of a single case. Not a single one. Meanwhile, Oliver Stone is doing real things to get documents, to get things into the public record. That's doing something. Maybe take a few hints. But maybe not. I mean, it's lucrative enough for Miriam and Aaron just to pretend to be doing stuff. And I guess that's what we should all be doing. Pretending to stop Scientology. And that'll stop Scientology. Just pretending to do things and not doing anything, I guess.